What's up, everybody? It is that time of the week, that time of the day.
Show is
time to get a little of the good,
the band,
and the ugly. I'm Big Papa.
I'm Jeff. Let's roll.
We've got a great show for you today. We have the famous Mick Fury.
Famous Mick Fury,
Not McFlurry.
Oh.
Not to be confused with the McDonald's McFlurry, but the Mick Fury. Yes.
The McFury.
Yeah. So we have him today. We're excited about that. But first, as always,
let's do this.
As always, we have to bring Uncle Jimmy in.
Let's do this.
We've put him in a waiting room.
Oh.
We are admitting him now. Uncle Jimmy is coming on. He's gonna turn his video on.
Yeah, he is. Other than that, we're just getting,
He's got no idea how to do it.
Again. Are you there, sir?
Got it.
There it is. There it is.
Yep,
Look at you.
Love it.
Look at you at the prison camp.
Yep.
What's going on, my brother?
Looking good.
How you doing?
Looking good from camp there, pal.
Yeah, nice.
All set up, turned on, everything's good?
All set up. Got stuff to do still, but was up here all last week getting ready and getting this stuff cleaned up. And got more stuff to do.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. So we'll be when are we going to record the show from up there?
Anytime.
Oh,
bring all shit up here.
Anytime.
I'll bring all this shit up there.
I love it.
I like that idea.
Gotta have a generator.
I have a round table. You don't need a generator.
You don't need a
Oh, that's
generator.
right. Oh, he's got a round
I
table.
got full power, Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this
He's got
guy's
all
living
He's
life.
got the shit right there. That's
Living life.
He's living large. He's living large like
He is, too.
large could be.
Got the fire going.
I see the little smoke in the
See that.
background,
That's
brother.
pretty cool too.
Flames went out.
Are you cooking on that?
No, I already cooked.
Okay.
What'd you have?
I had pierogies.
Nice. Okay.
Nothing like a good campfire pierogi.
I know.
And a campfire. Little butter, little mixed vegetables. Fried up
Nice.
a little bit.
Nah.
Going all pierogi on us.
Going all Polish on us? That's a Polish food. They just don't know it.
No, they don't. It's crazy.
Whatever. So, did you go see anybody, or have you just been up to camp, or what's the
I
deal?
just went to one show this weekend. It's Small Stars, and it's Brett Falso, Joe Battles, Joe McSweeney, and Rob Earl. And they got together, and they do a show twice a year all together.
Oh,
Okay.
And it's a 4-hour show. And they come and go. They do it in sets and individuals all night long. And then at the end of the set, they do a band. The whole band plays.
Oh, very
nice.
cool.
And where was
So-
that?
That was up at Fairways and Dreams on Route 3 in Pulaski. It's a golf course, and they started it. The guy that owns the Richland Hotel
Mhm.
bought it a couple of years ago,
Oh, okay.
and they're putting it back together. It was vacant for quite a while,
Oh.
for a couple of years, but
That's
yeah,
cool.
now he's gonna get campgrounds in there, put it back to a 9-hole golf course. He's got some plans to do it, so it'll be fun.
When are you going to buy a bar?
What am I gonna buy a bar?
Yeah.
Well, give me
Call
the
it
money.
Uncle Jimmy's place. Call it Uncle Jimmy's.
At almost 70, I really don't care.
You can, Uncle Jimmy's
let somebody
place,
else have the
chilling and grilling
Oh,
with Uncle Jimmy.
Chilling and
You want
grilling.
chilling? Here's chilling.
Oh, see what he did.
It's backwards,
boom.
but
Here. Here he is. Hey,
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
chilling. We're gonna get nasty
You're
grams on that
no,
one.
no kidding.
We love you, Rick.
Dude,
Dude, do you
mentioned-
see how many people
mentioned
he's
the-
interviewing in a week?
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's like doing 5 a week.
That's crazy.
yeah, he's got 50. He's got 50 this year, all total.
Well, that's a year's worth.
Right.
We have 52. Meh.
But ours are once a week.
Yeah, he
But
goes
that's
like to
okay, and that-
October
and that-
or
right.
something like
Yeah.
So
Hey, God bless him, man.
you mentioned something about that the new place there. There's another new place in Elbridge.
that. Is it really?
Yeah, it's on Fikes Road, just off Route
Okay.
5. I'll have to get the name of it, but John Regalia and the Swamp Boys played there this weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so there was a new place. Okay.
Yeah.
I did post it, but I
Did you
didn't
go
pay
there?
attention to where it was.
Yeah, it's in Elbridge. They say Memphis, but I think it's in between.
Well,
Memphis.
Yeah, not Memphis, isn't like down south Memphis.
You weren't sure if you were going to say Memphis, Tennessee.
I wasn't either.
You're like, is it Memphis, South Carolina? No, it's Memphis, Tennessee.
Tennessee, but again,
You
know,
weren't sure. You
I did. I stuttered for
Memphis.
a minute.
I don't want to sound stupid. I think it's Tennessee, but it might not be. Memphis,
Yeah, that's
Texas.
okay. Memphis, Texas.
Yep, it's right next door.
And there may be. You never know.
There could be. So what do you have? What's your pick of the week, Hime?
oh my God, there is so much this week. I don't know.
Really?
It's been a tough one.
You got to start with Thursday.
Oh,
Huh?
Thursday's the first bike week, isn't it?
Thursday, first bike night. It's obviously going to be dangerous type.
oh,
and
very
then,
cool.
And then kick off the
Sharkies.
Sharky's there, but there's also kickoff at Tiki Bar that opens up
Yes.
Thursday also.
I didn't recognize any of the name. Wow.
They got Jim's apartment. And I have no idea who that is.
Jim's apartment.
Yeah,
Uncle Jimmy's apartment's playing.
yeah. I
Wow.
know my apartment, but
It's not a real hot band.
yeah. So and then he got Mr. Monkey and
Well, there's
Jeff Malone.
Mr. Monkey will be joining us later in the season here.
Yeah.
Couple
Yep.
weeks.
Is he bringing all his? Well, he can't. He's not going to come with you.
He's
Yeah.
going to be on the video, so
Yeah.
they're going to play some guitar and bring their
Yeah.
monkeys.
I'm gonna play some sitar.
Patty.
Maybe.
Yep, Patty will be there.
Yep.
She's bringing a cake.
And
Oh, good.
Patty cake.
Patty cake.
Baker's man.
my real pick of the week is going to have to be
Your
the
ass.
Jess Novak 90 show at Average Joe's.
Just
That's Jess
Novak.
Novak. She
It's a-
plays with BSG.
It's a
And,
90s show, you said?
It's a 90 show.
Okay.
She did it last year and she was pregnant.
Oh,
And like maybe it was 2 years ago. But yeah,
okay.
it's a real good show.
I was
And,
actually listening to her album in the car today,
Yeah.
and listening to that song. I think it's called "I'm a Bitch." I'm serious. I think it's a great album. I mean, it's not like it's jazzy, you
Yeah.
know, but a little bit more pop. But it was really good. I was listening to it. So that's
Ryan
yeah,
Coughlin's new band is opening up for him for an hour set.
who's that?
He was supposed to tell me what band name is, but he never got it to me. So
Who is it?
he's Ryan Coughlin.
No, I've never heard
Between
of
covers.
Between the
Oh,
singer,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
singer
the
from
singer
Between
from
Covers.
Between Covers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know the rest of the
Yep.
guys in it. I'm just
And they're playing Saturday night with my so-called band.
You've got a band?
No, my so-called band does.
That's funny.
That is funny. That is funny.
Yeah, that's
Jimmy's so-called band.
Jimmy's so-called band.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
So who else
Dig-
is up to camp with you?
Digging it.
Right now, nobody.
Wow. So all your friends.
One guy just pulled in, Pat. He's a floor covering guy,
Okay.
but he pulled in about 15, 20 minutes ago.
It's like the fire
Other than
just
that,
rejuvenated.
the
I
tape
know.
is pretty much mine.
That's
This is
that's
nice.
cool. There you go.
Yep.
I like this. What is this little thing you're sitting under? It's a little Uncle Jimmy's tent.
So Uncle Jimmy, it's a full white garage type of thing that I put. You can pull a car in here if you want to, but this is my addition to my camper.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
what
I
you've
dig
done
that.
with the place.
Yeah.
I put all my refrigerator, all the cooking stuff out here. I have a little camp cooking area, and
That's awesome.
Very cool.
How do you like our sign today?
Yeah, dude.
nice.
You like that sign?
Right.
And as you can see, it is we are
got
sponsored by
down there.
the
Print shop.
Print Shop Underground.
Print Shop Underground.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
actually, Print Shop Underground, they do a lot more than you actually think. All the menu boards at the amphitheater
Yeah.
Okay.
came from them.
Wow.
Just for example,
Yeah.
when I was there, he was working on an order for like 400 shirts.
for the amphitheater, or
just I'm talking. I mean, he does a lot of stuff that we didn't know, but he's got laser engraving.
Yeah.
He's got screen printing. He's got the wide format vinyl cutting, printing, doing banners, and he can wrap a car.
Yeah, say if you want a car wrapped
around a tree.
Well,
is he local, Mike?
He's local. He's in Baldwinsville.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's a friend of the show, and he's a great guy, and he's a hardworking son of a bitch. I'll tell you. He's embroidery. He's got the embroidery machine right there. He's got, like I said, he's got the wide format printer for the banners. He's got silk screening. He's got sublimation. He's got anything you can think of. He does it there. He doesn't send it out. He does a great job, and he's got a couple guys working there with him, and they just get it banged out. The quality of stuff. I mean, I called him this afternoon and I said, "Hey, print me something for our new upgraded wall," and he said, "Come pick it up in 10 minutes," and I did, and there it is.
Yep.
And,
wow.
Just banged it out. I said, and I told him, print me one for your place, and we'll hang it under there.
Yeah.
And then the spot behind Jeff over his head next to the slot machine is going to be for our next. We have a couple other sponsors that we have to
mention?
exploit and mention.
Yeah.
But once they deliver the goods.
Yes.
And pay us.
I want to see it. I want to see it in full before I mention your name.
Yeah. We're going to be giving away gift cards to restaurants.
Yep.
We're going to be giving away some T-shirts.
Yep.
Courtesy of the
Print Shop Underground.
We've got all kinds of good stuff. So we urge everybody as you're listening to jump online and find us on Facebook, or you can comment right on Spotify.
Yeah.
You just comment and say, hey. Yeah. In fact, the first person to comment on Spotify this week that pops up there is going to win a prize.
Yep.
Can't tell you what yet.
Nope.
But it's a good one. It's a date with Jeff.
Oh, no, it's not.
With Jeff.
That's a real boring one.
I hope that guy that...
Me too. Me too.
Jesus,
hope he's ready.
You can't make fun of that stuff nowadays. Because
no, we can't.
Because when you do,
No, I know. It's
trouble.
Hey,
Jimmy.
Under the Page. Done.
Under the Page is done.
Under the Page is gone.
All done.
Really? What is it going to be now?
Nothing. They're all going their separate ways.
There's some rumors going around that there could be something in the works, but
yeah.
Could it be a rider?
It could be like under the 3-inch, or you just never know.
3-inch.
Under the Fury.
Under the Fury.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Rock of Ages 2.0.
Oh, right.
That's all right. I would dig that.
Yeah.
We better get him on here before it happens. We want the skinny.
From I want all the skinny.
Try to get skinny.
The skinny from the mini.
I want all the skinny.
Yeah.
Huh. Nice.
Yep.
So we got the pick of the week.
Yeah.
He's up at camp. He's relaxing. This is awesome.
Having drinks.
I think we just need to crash the party.
Didn't go out kayaking today. It was a little too chilly out there for me to kayak. So it worked.
Yeah.
But,
maybe this weekend. Who knows?
Yeah. It's supposed to be almost 70, so that range, I'll go out.
Yeah, it'll work.
I think what should happen is that I'm going to come up there, and
it'll snow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look who just joined us. Look at this. Mr. Mick Fury, everybody.
Huh? What?
Can he hear us? Can you hear us?
He's tapping screens.
Can you hear us, Mick?
Hello.
You can
Sorry,
hear
to get set up here, boys.
That's all right.
There he is.
How's it going?
Good.
What's happening?
Mick, do you know Uncle Jimmy?
Uncle Jimmy, I don't think so.
We've never met.
So Uncle Jimmy is our local. Remember years ago when Ray used to promote everything on Facebook and everything?
I think so, yeah.
So Uncle Jimmy has taken the Onondaga County, Oswego County, and
Oneida County,
and the responsibility of posting
Madison County.
every band that plays anywhere sends the information to Jimmy, and he posts it.
Okay.
So Jimmy posts all the stuff.
It was last week or week before I put your new song on.
Yes, he featured your song on his.
I did see that. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay.
And what do you've got? Couple 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people following you, Jimmy?
3,600 right now.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How many hits on that last post? You bastard.
Right now,
Yeah.
4,000 likes.
Right.
Okay.
1,000 shares, and 100,000 people reach.
Yeah,
That was
that
on
out,
the
huh?
arcade MTV videos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just stealing other people's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're allowed.
That's all right.
Hey, people sharing it. It's like you never even heard the song before.
This
You
is
know?
true.
Yeah.
This is true. So, Jimmy, once again, we always appreciate you being on
Hey,
here.
guys.
Enjoy your camp. We will be up there crashing.
Yeah, we'll be up and crash that thing soon.
I'll be
Bring
up
a
there
guitar.
too, Jimmy.
Bring the guitar. Why, do you
Bring
need
guitar.
firewood?
Yeah, I was thinking acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
We'll do acoustic Wednesdays.
Yeah, Jeff,
That's what I'm gonna
Acoustic
start doing.
Wednesdays.
Acoustic Wednesdays, probably in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Once I get it more finished, and
Yeah.
I got a couple guys who already want to come up and
Very cool.
drink some.
Somebody a lot better than you, apparently.
Right.
Anyways, thanks, Jim.
Mike, you can bring a kazoo.
I'll bring God.
There you
You've
go.
been God. He hasn't been around.
That's okay.
What happened to him?
He needs a break.
We couldn't have him too much with Ian Bagg because Ian was like, I didn't even see your lips moving.
I know.
He needed a lot of God, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
All right, now you get off. You're taking up Mick's
Okay,
place
I'm
here.
out
We,
of here.
we got to talk the good shit now.
Okay,
All right, brother. Thank you.
Love you, man.
bye.
Peace.
See ya. There he goes. The one and only Uncle Jimmy.
Yep.
Doesn't know how to end it, though. He's going to be stuck there.
Seemed like a fine fellow.
There he goes.
There he goes.
He is a smart feller or a fart smeller.
Yeah. Whichever you want.
That's right. Mick, how are you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Good to hear from you. Glad to be a part of this.
Oh,
Fun.
we are so
Oh,
we're so
excited.
happy you're on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you and our history goes back to the Big Papa days.
Back to the Big Papa days.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to bring up anything to embarrass you, but I do remember a Halloween party, Mick running around in a diaper,
Oh.
Yeah.
Even better.
and his bandmates back then wanted to see who could give him the biggest handprint on his ass cheek.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
And how'd that turn out?
Red.
You know, I was lonely back then. I needed a little bit of touching. So
Oh, cool.
So we listened to the new single. I listened to it
Yeah.
again in the car on the way driving around today. Love it. Love
Thank
the
you.
new stuff.
Thank
Yep. Good stuff.
appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So I don't know how much you know about our show, but we like to talk a little bit about what got you where you're at, what you've done in the past,
Okay.
where you plan on going. But then we also like to know a little behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like your most embarrassing moment or something that just
Do you have like a
Well,
most?
being on this show, that's already taken care of. So
that not the
That's
best
the-
moment. Of
No,
your
that was the
life.
most embarrassing moment.
I said the most embarrassing.
That's what I say.
I was waiting for you.
I know you were.
Okay.
You got it.
So tell us about your history. I know a little bit about it, but let's let everybody hear.
Yeah.
Where have you come from? How long have you been doing what you're doing?
sure. So yeah, obviously born and raised in good old Syracuse, New York. So local. Grew up with the snow and the misery and the pain of growing up there, which is great.
Yep.
Maybe tough.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff.
Grew hair on his
So-
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. So I took off right out of high school. I took off and I went to LA for a couple of years, and I thought I was going to be a big rock star, and I was playing on the Sunset Strip and trying to do the Guns N' Roses thing, and unsurprisingly, it didn't really work out for me. So I kind of came home with my tail between my legs, and came back to Syracuse probably about the time I met you, Mike, and started up another rock band with a couple of really close friends of mine. There's a couple different iterations of the band, but Joe Grossfent, who I know is still around town, Joe Nasty, and Greg Goose LaPointe, who is actually down here in Nashville. He's had a pretty illustrious music career. He's been on tour with John Fogerty, and he plays with Rich O'Toole, and a bunch of really big bands. He does really, really well. So we had a great thing going, and we were playing all over upstate New York, and opening up for all the bands would come through the Westcott Theater. We open up for all those bands. So a bunch of, Vertical Horizon and the Spin Doctors and a bunch of washed out
Right.
80s bands that were,
Our kind of people.
Our kind of people.
Yeah.
yeah. Vince Neil and Warrant and a bunch of these kind of goofy bands that were.
Actually, I remember that because that was like in the near the F Shed.
Yeah, we used to do the one at the F Shed. Yeah, we did a couple of those at the F Shed. We did, like I said, a bunch at the Westcott, a few at the Lost Horizon. Yeah, so a bunch of cool bands, and then we got kind of lucky, and we got to do K-Rockathon, which was awesome. With Bush, I think, was on that one, and Stone Temple Pilots, and the Insane Clown Posse, and that was kind of like our peak. We figured we've made it. And then band kind of fell apart for a variety of reasons, and we all were like, well, it seems like the future of music's in Nashville. Let's go down there and give that a crack. And so we came down here and we tried some country music, and we tried kind of blending into the scene and did that whole thing. And then once again, people kind of go there. This kind of happens in music a lot. It's sort of a repetitive story. It's like you come together with a bunch of friends, everybody goes their own way. You come together with a bunch of friends, it kind of goes in and out, right? It's a permanent roller coaster ride.
Sure is.
We know that one.
Yeah, kind of went through that whole thing, and then 3-4 years ago, kind of right before COVID, I sort of went back to doing more of the singer-songwriter, rock, Americana stuff. And then COVID hit, and obviously I went from playing, 150 days a year on the road to obviously being stuck home like all of us were. And so I started kind of producing out my own album, which I'd never really done that whole process by myself. So I kind of produced it all out, and I brought in some of the old squad. So Max McKee, who's another Pennaville superstar, he played on my album.
Great bass player.
I got a guy Nate Felty, who's from Camillus area, another Syracuse boy. And then it was mixed by a good friend of ours, Andrew Greason, up in Syracuse. So while that was going down, working on the new album, I also got hired in sort of a weird turn of events. I got hired to do the score/soundtrack for a Mel Gibson Cole Hauser movie called Panama. So that started in like mid 2021. Feature film, like $10 million film. I'm not exactly sure why the hell they thought I could do it, but I said yes and crapped my pants and got to work. And I spent about 8 months working on that film. And then kind of right as we were coming out of COVID, it released in theaters in New York City and LA and a couple of big markets, nowhere too small, just the big places. And we flew up to New York and watched the release in the theater, and it was kind of a big thing. And then, once that kind of went by the wayside, it's been working on the new album. So it's a really condensed version of a 20-year music career, but that's the best I can do.
Well, that's
cool, man.
That's a very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, your main focus of music, guitar, or has it always been just singing? Or, I mean, when you first started, were you always the front guy, or did you start as a, guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the one thing that's held true I started, I've had a professional, I'll use quotes for that, professional career for 20 years, but I probably played for my whole life. And so I think I started just being interested in songwriting. I mean, I grew up listening to the Beatles and the Allman Brothers and just really, really fantastic songwriting stuff. That's what my dad got me into. And so I helped out in his band. I played drums in his band when I first started off, and I played keys, and I played like backup guitar, and I wasn't necessarily good at any of those things, but I was a guy on stage that can make a little bit of noise. And then, ever since then, it's been guitar all the way. I mean, I do play a little bit of piano, but I'm not great. mostly a guitar player, singer, songwriter, and a budding composer, producer. So
right.
So
wearing a lot of hats.
Tell me a little bit about. I saw at one point you did a video series, kind of going across the country. Explain that a little bit. Because people, you can still see it on YouTube. So
yeah, it's on YouTube. So I have a lot of different musical interests. I should preface this whole thing by saying that, which is why I've done, I used to do like really, really light acoustic singer-songwriter stuff. Then I had a really hard rock band, and then I had a country band, and now I'm kind of doing Americana, and I've done some movie stuff. I have a lot of interest in music, because I think music is such a wide, sort of all-encompassing thing. So I'm interested in all the different facets of it, how it affects our lives, whether it's through film or through listening to it or seeing something live. I like all that stuff, right? So I'm not sure if you're super familiar with how the Nashville songwriting thing works, but just a quick primer. You'll basically meet a buddy or a guy that's like another songwriter or girl, and you'll say, hey, let's get together and write a tune. Let's pick next Tuesday at 10 a.m. So you show up at Tuesday at 10 a.m. and you got to have like ideas ready to go.
Right.
And you two are going to collaborate and bang on each other until you get like a really good tune. So, and I've done this thousands of times since I came down here. It's probably been the greatest part of living in Nashville is getting a chance to write with so many talented people.
Right.
So yeah, probably 3-4 years ago now, right? Yeah, probably 4 years ago. I had one of these rights set up, 10 a.m. on a Wednesday or something. And over in East Nashville, which if you've been to Nashville, the west side is the part that everybody knows with Broadway and
Right.
all the craziness. The east side is where all the hippies and the hipsters and the weirdos like me live. So my friend Sean,
Cool.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I fit right in. I'm actually not the weirdest person here, which is different thing for me.
Well, you
So
did
I
stand
went,
out in Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah, right. So I went to my buddy's house, Sean Patrick McGraw. He's actually a country singer-songwriter. He's from Dunkirk, New York, if you know where that is, way out
I
by
do.
like,
Yep.
yeah, almost like Fredonia area.
Yes.
So he's a little older than me, and we got together and we had nothing to say. We were just sitting on his front porch and just throwing ideas back and forth, and we couldn't come up with a damn thing to write about. And we're scrolling through social media, as you will sometimes do, looking for inspiration. And East Nashville, where I now live, and he lived at the time, was it's a very diverse area. So as we're sitting there, a black guy goes by, a Hispanic family walks by, a white guy walks by, and one of us had the idea, like, man, it's kind of like we're sitting on the front porch of America. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds like a cool hook. Like, let's dive into that and see what that can mean. So kind of dove into that, and that was at the heart of the, like, Trump era, where everyone's yelling at each other on social media and everyone thinks everyone else is an asshole, all that stuff.
Yep.
So there's some, like, sort of, and I don't know if you guys ever felt this. Maybe as an artist, I feel it kind of sensitively, but there was a tension in America at that time, right or wrong. There was just a pressure in the air at all times that you felt like anybody you meet on the street's about to go off for some reason, right?
Right.
And you feel that as an artist. And so we kind of channeled that through the song. And I just got really inspired. I was like, you know what, this is a really cool song. What if, as a way to sort of talk about the album and talk about the song, what if I got in a truck and I drove all around America and, like, let's cut through the media bullshit. I want to sit on people's front porches and hear what they actually have to say. And so we did that. And so we took off from Nashville, me and my buddy Adam, who actually I wrote the song that's on now, Can't Let Go. I wrote that with my good friend Adam James Diebel, and he came on the trip with us and my videographer. And we drove 9,000 miles around America, and we sat on maybe 20 people's front porches. And we just talked to them. Hey, what do you think's going on in America? Why can't we get along? Why are we fighting? What's your view on everything? And the sort of neat subtext to that is that obviously, literally, everyone's view from their current front porch is different, right? So we sat on a guy in Syracuse front porch. He had like a wood pile and American flag. We sat on a guy in New York City's front porch, and that was a rooftop in Brooklyn. I have a friend that's an emergency room doctor. We sat like out by the water in Detroit where he used to work, and we sat at an Indian reservation, all these different spots. So everyone's literal view is different. And then obviously their figurative view is different as well, right? Like metaphorically, your view from the front porch of America is different. Everyone's is different. So anyways, long story short, we did it on a shoestring budget. I think we did the whole thing for, I don't know, way cheaper than it should have been done for, and just eating, Chipotle the entire way.
Right.
And
got sponsored.
two weeks we did the whole project, and we spent a year putting it together, and got picked up by like Roku for a little bit of time. And it was just it was an amazing thing to do with music, that it took me on a journey like that. And it got me to just kind of open my eyes to what other people think. It was kind of Front Porch of America project. If you want to check it out, it's online. It's a neat thing.
So you could still see it on Roku, or is it on?
It's just on YouTube now. It's like 51. We cut it into like a 51-minute documentary. It was originally like 8 episodes that we put out sort of like in a serial fashion, and then we just combined it into one long documentary. But it's funny because we do like, I mean, you know me, Mike. I'm not the most serious guy in the world. So there's a bunch of comedy in there, or attempts at comedy in there,
Right.
And a little bit of behind the scenes of what it means if you're just a dude like me who's paying for your life playing music. What does that mean if you try to take on doing a documentary that tends to cost millions of dollars, and you're doing it for a few $100? Like little behind the scenes stuff too. So
well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, because the other person that kind of did something like that from Phoenix was the girl with Volkswagen.
Who's that?
I forget her name.
I can't remember. She drove the
rainbow colored Volkswagen.
Fag bug on the side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Somebody had
I remember.
They graffitied the side of her car.
Yeah.
And finally she was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just leaving.
She's going to embrace it.
And so she embraced it. She filmed her whole journey across the country and back. Started in Phoenix and ended in Phoenix. Cool. And I think Showtime or one of them picked it up and ran it. It was basically the show, almost kind of same concept as everybody has a different feeling toward this, that, and the other thing. But
Sure.
She's just a person, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how she was embraced in certain areas, and how she was just, you know, scoffed at in other areas. But
Sure.
but it was pretty interesting watch.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I was at Fast Track on the corner like 57 and 31, and the thing pulled in. I'm like, I just saw a documentary on this.
Right.
That's the person. So she
Yeah.
walked in, and I was like, I think I bought her a coffee or something. She was going in for. I said, let me buy that. I said that was a great documentary that you did. You know,
Yeah.
not going to buy
you know,
you one, but I got her one. I think I gave you enough shots over the years.
Sure. You know, it's kind of an amazing thing. We tend to think, if you watch the news, if you watch Fox or you watch CNN, you think that people are like way far apart. And I found that if I sat down with people that were very liberal or very conservative, everybody sort of wants the same stuff. You know, we all want like our friends and neighbors to thrive and do well, and like this to be like a safe place full of opportunities for everyone to grow. Like that's what we all really want. It's just the media kind of pushes us to fight each other way too much, and I just didn't like that, you know.
Well, it's amazing that I'm glad you did, because most artistic people tend to lean on one direction or the other, and they're very stuck to their ways, and they don't want to compromise. And I think what being a musician, as much as I have been in my life, and Jeff as well, and we're not supposed to pick sides. We're in an entertainment business. We have our, I think we're supposed to keep an open mind for everybody, because that's what we're here for. And if you have your opinions, that's great. But keep them off the stage, keep them off the air, you know.
That's the thing. I fully understand that point. I'm not sure I fully agree with it. From my perspective, and this is just me saying this, and I try to be as open-minded as I can, but you know, you sort of see the same things happening time and time again. We have another mass shooting. We have more people dying on the streets, and it's hard not to be empathetic and be like, man, there has to be solutions to these problems. And like, I think that art can be a great mechanism to sort of help to enact those solutions, because if we disagreed on something, we start talking about it. You have your view, I have my view. Sometimes there's an impasse, but something about music can transcend that impasse and can really speak to people's hearts in a way that it's difficult to do in conversation. So
I do agree with that.
They do say music brings people together, so
sure,
and hopefully that does.
It does. Yeah,
you know?
I mean, hopefully it encourages people to be more empathetic and more caring, and something the world desperately needs.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, we do.
Agreed.
So what do you have coming up? Are you going to be back? You're going to be back in this area at all soon, or?
I am a little bit. I tend to come up now and I play the casinos because they like to have me up there, and it's as you might imagine, it's relatively expensive to constantly travel from Nashville, so I got to be a little bit selective with where I'm able to play. But I'm doing a few casino things, but mostly I'm preparing for the release of this album. So the album's called 1981 to 1996, and it's going to come out in June. I believe it's June 23rd, if I can remember the date. So between now and then, it's, you know, the first song came out, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago. Got another song coming out in a couple weeks. Final single comes out in early June, and then the album will go out. So that's like 100% locked in focus on that lately. So it's been a really fun process.
Now you're not a stranger to having things released. I remember when you'd come in the bar even, and people would say, "Yeah, you can go on the jukebox right now and pull up some of his stuff." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
And to pull it up, I'd be like, "No kidding. This is holy shit."
Yeah.
And so always been proud to say, you know, this is a guy that's doing it, and it's not easy. I know. I can imagine. You know, we have day jobs. This is your day job. This is your night job. This is your 24/7 job.
This is all the jobs.
Yeah. You know, and I see what you do, and I see what you post, and I've always been a fan of not only the product that you put out, whether it's country, whether it's rock, whether it's the hard rock stuff, that the passion's been there, the blood, sweat, and tears, and you portray that, and people appreciate what you put into your craft.
Sure, well, that's very, very, very kind of you to say. I mean, that's ironically sort of what that first single that we put out, Can't Let Go, is about. You know, it's kind of, as I mentioned, I wrote it with my good friend Adam James Diebold. He's all my buddies down here. It's kind of a funny thing. They're all upstate New Yorkers originally, like just transplants down there. So he's from Albion, which is out near Batavia.
Yes.
Anyways, little tiny crap town, super, super talented dude. And he came over one day a few years ago when we wrote this tune, and we were just talking about. I kind of did like a quick summary for him. I'm like, here's my background in music, and he kind of told me his, and we both have a very similar story of struggling. Like I said, I literally lived on the West Coast trying. I lived in upstate New York trying. I lived in Nashville trying, and I'd be lying to you if there was not a bunch of days I've woken up, even recently, and been like, I should fucking give this shit up and get a real job. I mean, I honestly, the mornings and I don't even say that to be trite. Like, I really do believe sometimes, like, there's got to be a better path than the constant struggle. And I've thought about giving up, and I've been super down and super depressed so many times recently. And there's just something about music that in the darkest moments, music like reaches out its hand and is like, come on, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
This is your
Right.
way. And that's what that song is about for me. Is it's about that constant push and pull where my brain's like, maybe get a real job, and music's like, I don't think so. It's like,
Right.
seems to happen time and time again. But yeah, that's,
I think from outside guys looking in that haven't taken the chance or taken the plunge.
Right.
How do I put this? Remember years ago that there was the movie Disney put out, Pixar, called Up, right?
yeah.
And
I
it
know
was
of it.
and
I know of it.
so the old guy's depressed because he feels his wife passed away and he never got to do the dreams that they set on. But then when they look back collectively, they had all these adventures together. They had all this life. You've been doing what you've been dreamed of doing. And it may not have been get signed, sell 1 million records, play an arena,
Sure.
but you're doing better than somebody like that had a 5-year run at it and then is now painting houses for a living.
Right.
So they may have hit the top of their mountain, but you've had this gradual hill that just kept going up. And I'd rather be up here all the time than be up here and then down in the weeds. And people go, aren't you the guy that used to? No, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about your character. And I think you should give yourself a pat on the back.
Absolutely.
We have local musicians here
Yeah.
that do, you got guys like Joe Altier, Bill Ali, Paul Davies, and all these other guys that's all they do.
I know all those guys. Yeah.
Exactly. So and even somebody like Kevin Dean. Kevin's, he's an unbelievable drummer, and his life is music. So that's what he's doing. So if you can do the thing you love the most, they say you don't really work a day in your life if you can live that little bit of a dream. So, with the way the music industry has changed and everything's so accessible, you can write your own music. You don't need a label to become famous nowadays.
Right.
You can get all those sets. So who knows? Maybe when you get up in the morning, you're gonna let's take a ride, and you never know where that next left hand turn or right hand turn is going to take you. But as long as you have all the sights on the way, who gives a shit where it takes you? Enjoy the sights.
Yeah. What's the? Isn't there a line from TLC that's "Life is a journey, not a destination"?
There you go.
Yep.
See?
That's the one.
That is true. Though.
Now, had you written that line, you'd be a lot more famous than you are now. But I'm just, not that it's a bad thing.
No.
Because it's a lot more famous than we are doing this
No.
podcast.
God, no.
Well, the 3 people that are listening,
Yeah. They enjoy it.
my mother, your wife. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, maybe not my mother. She probably, as soon as I drop the F-bomb, she turns it off.
Oh, well.
Oh, Michael.
Mick, what do you enjoy writing most? Is it rock or is it country?
I've kind of had like a heart-to-heart with myself about that. So hopefully you'll get a chance to hear the new album when it comes out. But there's sort of a mixing and mashing of genres in there. And I guess what I've learned through the years is just to be really honest to the song. Like,
Okay.
I'm kind of a servant of the song. So whatever comes out, you sort of chase that muse, and whatever road it takes me down, I'm willing to go that way. So there's tunes on the new album that are like acoustic singer-songwritery. There's ones that are like straight up hard rock. There's one that's like maybe like a Muse song, one that's like a Springsteen song. So I don't really prejudge the tune. If it feels like it should have a country-ish turn, that's cool. If it feels like it should have a rock and roll turn, that's cool. If when I do my solo show, I even do a wider variety of stuff. So if I'm out like when I play the casino, they'll book me for 4 hours, right? So I do a lot of originals. I probably do 2.5 hours of originals. At some point in there, I have to do some covers too.
Right.
And I'll do a wide range of stuff, and my originals reflect that. I'll do everything from Johnny Cash to Frank Sinatra to Ed Sheeran, and like I have originals that also sort of swim that same river. You know?
Okay,
so I like it all. I just like to do what the song wants me to do.
Right. That's understandable.
Definitely.
You know.
That's well, it's you don't get caught up in yourself that way.
Right.
You let, like you said, you let the music dictate what you're doing for that song, and you're not pigeonholed into everything
one
I do
certain
has got to be
thing.
screaming, or
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I think even when we would put our set list together, we'd be like, "Yeah, we can't do this one. Nobody will like it."
I know.
You know.
I know.
So we were more worried about. We didn't worry about the stuff we probably should have worried about.
Right.
We worried about ourselves at that point. We're like,
Yeah, I mean, I even have a big part of my set now that's like Irish songs, that some that I cover and some that I've written, and I've been around enough places and heard enough of those tunes to go, man, this is like something really fun and like awesome and historic about these tunes, and like now they're part of what I do. And like I went to Ireland this past year, and I was super inspired, and I'm like, shit, maybe next year I'll put out an Irish album. So
There you go.
did you play when you were in Ireland?
you know, I was really, really fortunate. I got asked to come on stage and do like a 30-minute set at Temple Bar, a little place called Fitzgerald's.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great, kind of like a highlight for me to be able to play. And it's the second time I've gotten to play in Europe, and that was really wonderful for me. And the best part was I got off stage, and, you know, a couple of people gave me, nice job. But I walked up to the bar, and there's a kind of a big Irish lass. And she was like, Mr. Fury, what are you drinking? And I'll take a shot of whiskey. This one's on the house. And she slid me over the whiskey. So I think that means that they liked what I did.
Yeah,
That's
right.
cool. Very
That's
cool.
awesome, though. You know.
Have you thought of, you know, there was a girl that used to play at the bar, Amanda Ashley. You know Amanda? She's out of Rochester.
I don't know that last name, no.
Okay, so Amanda used to, she wanted to always go to Europe. She wanted to see Europe, and the best way to make a trip worth it is to book gigs.
Sure.
And she booked 1 or 2 nights in each city that she wanted to visit. She made enough money to get from one city to the next, sleep and eat, and it was basically a paid for vacation, you know.
Right.
Amazing.
And they loved Americans. They loved the American music, the Americana music, you know.
Oh yeah, that's been I've been really fortunate. I've gone to Europe quite a few times. My old man's from Syracuse as well. He now lives down in Florida, and I don't see him quite as often as I'd like to. So we try to get together once a year and go to Europe together. And he loves to go to like Paris or London or something. It's kind of like a bonding trip for us.
That's
Sure,
cool.
sure.
So yeah, I've been super fortunate to be over there a bunch of times, and my experience has never been anything but positive, no matter where I went. France, England, Ireland, whatever it is. People are very kind, very generous, very, very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the food is just the best ever. So
Yeah, I spent 14 days in England and loved it.
hell yeah.
Took the hovercraft out of Dover into France, and they didn't like us very much, but that was all right.
You know, the French, I always have to say this when people say that to me, is the French are very, very big about manners. So like if you, like in America, you walk up to a bar and be like, I'll take 2 double jacks or whatever it is. You don't do that in France. Hello, how are you? May I please have 2 drinks? And like once you do that, they are the sweetest people in the world. But if you skip that little nicety, they do not care for you.
See, that was the problem we had at Big Papa's. People didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
They did not come up and lay out that real polite. Excuse me, sir, but can I have another PBR?
Right.
And I don't want to pay more than $2.25
Correct.
or $1.75 or whatever it was.
Whatever it was back then.
Mhm.
I say back then, but we know it was only,
Hey,
you know.
biggest night was the last night. We had a fire sale.
Yeah, you did. He had a literal
Yeah, it was.
fire sale.
Things were jumping that night. Yeah, I don't think you were in town when that place burned to the ground, but
No.
yeah. I had friends of mine. You remember the dock? So I was standing on the dock as the bar was burning down, and my phone rings, and I'm not going to mention Bill Johnson's name because if I mentioned Bill Johnson's name for calling me, it would show how rude it was. But I answered the phone. He's like, "Yeah, I hear I hear the place on fire tonight." I said, "Yeah, I hear you're having a fire sale on those wings. You can't even keep them." I was like, "Yeah. Keep going."
Yeah.
He's like, "What? Too soon?" I was like, "You
Little bit.
motherfucker."
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever thought about opening up a place again or no?
No. God, no. That was the first and only time I ever turned a profit on the place was that last night. But
Business, that's a hard business, man. I'm in them all the time, and I know it's a difficult way to make a life.
Well, it's no different than struggling like you have to. So you know, just a different set of problems.
Sure. You know. Yeah.
So we got to ask, and this is a point where we always ask: give us your most embarrassing moment.
Give an embarrassing moment on stage that you just thought,
and
I'm never coming back from this.
Yeah. So you think about it for a second, because we've had artists that have gotten too hammered to continue to play. We've got people that have split their pants and had to put other bands' bumper stickers over their junk so that their junk wasn't hanging out in the front crowd. We've had guitar players that get stuck on top of picnic tables in front of 5,000 people. Not going to say who. Because he couldn't get off of it because it was too rickety. We've had singers that've done frontward somersaults when trying to jump up on the stage and ended up breaking his face.
Right there.
Yeah. So we've admitted all this stuff. Yeah. Now it's your turn, Mr. Americano.
On stage thing that I've done that was really dumb. I mean, I've done probably about half those things you mentioned I have done, but I wouldn't consider any of them my most embarrassing moment. Gosh, I got to think back here. It's a little hard to remember. This is not as good of a story as you would like, but I played down in Florida a lot, and I met up with a promoter. This is probably 3-4 years ago. And this is really not as good of a story as you're smashing your face doing a thing or getting stuck on a picnic table, but
that's okay.
I met up with a promoter, and he's like, "Hey man, I got a big show coming up next month. Would you want to like fly down and be a part of it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like what's the show?" And he's like, "Well, Travis Tritt's playing. Like, I think you'd be awesome to open up for him."
Oh, very cool.
Sure.
Sounds great. It's awesome. So I come back to Nashville and I buy my flights and I got it all figured out and I invite some people and show up to the day of the show, setting up my gear and, you know, pre-show at like a big venue. There's a bunch of people running around and there's a stage manager and, oh, hey, you set up here, do this. And so Travis walks in, kind of looks at me, walks in the back. His tour manager comes out a minute later. He's like, "Hey man, what you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just getting set up to open up." He goes, "Yeah, Travis doesn't have any openers. He never does openers for any of his shows." And I'm like, oh this guy hired me, and he's the one that. And there was another band there that also had been told they could open up, and we like, oh man, I don't tell you. Like, I'm like, man, I literally got on a flight yesterday from Nashville. I paid like $300 just to get down here. And he's like, "Let me go see you. Let me see what Travis says." So he goes back and he comes back out. He's like, "All right." He says you can have 20 minutes. I'm like, "Oh, thank God." So all these people coming, but I got to go up and play the show. So I mean, that was.
Dude, that's crazy.
Not embarrassing, but it was terrifying right before the show. It's like,
sure.
man, I'm gonna be like $500.
Right.
All my friends are going to show up, and I'm not going to be here.
So, what panned out? Was the guy a scammer, or was he just talking on his ass?
He just was, promoters like, "Yeah, I think this is the deal. I'm not really sure, but you should be fine." Like, it's just, I mean, you remember the guy that came through Syracuse and put on the Bret Michaels show? We were supposed to be the band right before Bret Michaels.
Yes, you were.
That went to shit.
Yep, it did.
Promoters have a bit of a bad legacy of doing things like that, where it's like over-promising and under-delivering,
But if I remember correctly, you got redeemed, though, when you guys did the Turning Stone. Am I correct?
Man, we did, and like that was one of the that actually has a funny story to it. So I was playing that night. Yes, we got redeemed. So Brett came to town. We were supposed to play outside with him. He came out, did that big press conference where he's like, "I'm not doing the show. This guy didn't pay me ahead of time. We'll come back and make it up to everyone."
Yeah.
So we're like, "Yeah, right. Okay, cool. See you later, Brett. Thanks for screwing us." We're kind of pissed at him, right? It's like, he's a dick. He's not going to play the show we're supposed to play. And anyways, so he came back like a year later and he reached out to Nikki Ferroni, I think used to be in a band in Syracuse. And he reached out to her and she got a hold of all of us. Bill Ali was in one of the bands.
Yep.
And they're going to have you guys play and like, it's going to be great. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So we show up and like all my friends came and I had a buddy that got like a suite at the Turning Stone. And we're just ripping like, vodka bombs and like Red Bull Jaeger shots. It's terrible. And I was smart enough to only do a couple. My drummer at the time may have done many Red Bull shots.
Not that drummer we're talking about.
Yeah. So anyways, we get on stage and it was a little rock and rolly. It was a little bit like, this guy's here, this guy's there, this guy's here. We do 3 or 4 songs and it was a blast. It was in the showroom, so there's 800 people.
Yeah.
And we get all done with the show, and like to this day, it's probably one of my biggest, I'm using a lot of quotes here, but rock star moments, because I walked out And it was a bunch of like, 80s women with giant hair and like their boobs hanging out that were like excited. Maybe I could sleep with Bret Michaels tonight. Like I'm going to dress to the nines and try to get my rocks off from 30 years ago. Right.
Right.
So they suddenly think we're the biggest deal in the world. And I'm like, we're just kind of lucky to be on the show. And I'm like literally signing babies. I'm signing off people's like CD. I'm signing all this.
Oh
I've
my
never had
God.
an experience like this. People are coming down from every level to talk to us. Man, people want to talk to you. This lady literally came up and offered me like her 18-year-old daughter. She's like, hey, isn't my daughter pretty cute? And I'm like, this is weird, but yes. And what's her phone number? Like, it was a really funny situation. And at the end of all of it, after the other two bands played and Bret played, Bret grabs us, takes us in the back, and he's like, hey, man, I appreciate you guys doing this. And here's like $500 like for your time. And like, we were not even supposed to get paid anything. So for him to pay us like $500, put us on the show, took a couple of great photos with us. So that was just like a wonderful testament to that guy's character that he came through and like treated us so well. So anyways, that was a funny one.
Well, the guy who blew up everybody's shit promoting that show.
Yep.
He's the guy who helped me get my liquor license.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I will never forget.
I'm surprised it was legit.
I was, because everybody, when I said, hey, yeah, blah, 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 help me. And they're like, did you really get it? Or did he like print it on his printer? I'm like, no, I got it, and that's the shit he does. But yeah, everybody was, you remember what he did with Bret Michaels, blah, 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 blah. It's like,
I mean, what's funny about that story is, and like, obviously I just told my side of it, but like in his defense, he got into one of these deals where they're like, yo, you're going to have like all these bands play all summer. You're going to make all this money. And then when Bret comes, you're going to have the payment for Bret. And like attendance just never quite was what it was supposed to be for like 6 or 7 of the shows.
Right.
And it got to the end. He's like, I got 30 grand. And Bret's like, I'm 100 grand. I'm not playing. Like,
right.
He got a little bit I don't really remember the dude that well, but he had a little bit of bad luck too.
Yeah. That was at the F Shed too, wasn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't really like at the F Shed itself. It was,
right next to it,
right next to it, outside. Everything was outside.
The G Shed.
Well, I will.
He's at the FU Shed. That's the one he got.
I will never forget when he had Vince Neil there.
Yeah. How can you forget that?
And
travesty.
Well, he gets up there at the end of the night to say something and totally screws it up.
Oh yeah,
because he's so hammered. Number one.
Vince, yeah.
No, not Vince.
Oh,
the gentleman you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's so hammered.
The wrong name. He called
exactly.
The wrong name.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
So
I think he was like Skid
well.
Row or something, because Skid Row was like the week before or the next week or whatever. Yeah. And it was like.
Yeah, so I remember that really well because we opened that show. So
yes,
we
you
opened
did.
up that show, and we used to always wait backstage for whoever the headliner was. It's kind of like a cool thing. We like to try to get a photo of us with whoever the headliner was. Like we'd done it with like Johnny Resnick from Goo Goo Dolls and the guy from we had like a bunch of cool pictures back in the day.
Right.
And so we're waiting backstage for Vince Neil to come back there, and this guy does what he did. He called him the wrong name or something horribly embarrassing.
Yep.
And Vince comes off the stage in a fucking fury, and he comes backstage. We're like, "Hey, Vince, can we get your autograph?" He's like, "Get the fuck out of my way, security! Get these fuckers!" And like they like drag us out of there, and Vince takes off down the road. He was so pissed. I'm like, "Oh, what an asshole!" But like I didn't really know the whole story until after.
Yeah.
Right. That is funny. Now, see, now that's a story.
It is a story.
That is a story. Those are the kind of things we look forward to. Is those stories.
I got 100 little mini dumb ones like that. They're not not that good, but it's like it seems like every time you play a big show like that, something would just go a little bit left, and it's like, well, they're gonna remember this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what we try to bring, and a lot of the artists that have been on that have been in the same shoes, opening up for some bigger names, always seem to have that one little story. Dr. loaning his belt.
Loaning Janie Lane his belt.
Yeah, Janie Lane didn't have his belt for his outfit, and Dr. took his off and gave Janie Lane his belt to wear, or something goofy. But
the only reason I knew that was because I walked around the corner and there's Dr. taking his belt off. I'm like, what's happening here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boy, that's a fan. That's a fan moment.
That's a fan.
An underrated part of being a successful musician is to be a problem solver, because like inevitably you're on stage and just things go to shit, and you have to be like, you have to remain calm and be like, okay, it's gonna be fine. We just pivot like this, and like it happens before shows, it happens during shows, sometimes after shows, something happens where you're like, okay, we got to try to solve this. Like inevitably, every single time we'd have a big show, it's like something like that would happen, So you just navigate it, you try to keep a cool head, and just
like bar owners that we're going to get their power shut off 5 minutes before we were going on.
Before we start.
We had to convince National Grid not to shut the guy's power off because we were playing that night.
Then he's reaching, and then he's getting every card out of his wallet to go to the ATM to pay off.
To pay us off. Well, no, he didn't pay off the heat. He turned the gas off that night.
Right.
He left the electricity on, turned the gas off. So he's like, well, you guys can play in here until it's too cold to play.
Yeah.
We're like,
we did.
Okay, that's all right. We'll do 3 hours. Yeah.
I bet a few of the power's gone out at the show, and then we've kept playing. Like, it's just
you have to do what you got to do.
Be flexible. You got to be flexible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we played that show that the power went off, and then the whole power goes off. The emergency lights go on. We're in the middle of like Lonely as the Night or something, and I just go into When the Lights Go Down in the City, and then boom, we just sang that a cappella.
Yes.
And when we got right to like the last bridge, boom, the power goes back on, and we kept playing Lonely as the Night. The bar owner was like, I'm giving you extra money. That was freaking priceless, you know?
Yeah,
I think
when things go sideways like that and you keep it together, the audience really feels like they're experiencing something special too. You know, it's like, oh, so remember that night that this happened, and like they'll never forget that, you know?
Yep. Did they plan that?
Yeah, right.
It's like we had comedians.
Did they plan for the bass player to get drunk and throw up on everybody?
Wow, that was great how he did that.
Best show ever.
Did they?
It's just like Guar. That was amazing.
Yeah. Did they rehearse getting in a fight with the drummer on stage? This is awesome.
Fantastic.
It looked so real. Those stitches look so real.
Yeah, they looked like they really hated each other for a minute there.
What an actuality.
I've had a handful of those as well.
Oh
yeah.
It's usually the drummer,
and I don't get it.
It's always the
I
drummer.
tend to find, nine times out of 10 these days, I mostly play solo for a variety of reasons. But it's hard to wrangle a bunch of dudes together to do anything without something going crazy.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot to be said about. I remember when I put the band together the first time, and all my friends that were doing solo stuff, they're like, "Dude, why?"
Right.
Why put yourself through that shit? You remember from years ago. Why are you doing it again? I was like, because I liked it. And now I'm talking to him. I'm like,
I know.
Let's just do acoustic. Fuck this band shit. You got 5 personalities with 5 different girlfriends or wives
that hate each other.
And at our age, that's 12 kids. You gotta be. Everybody's got to like. Now everybody hates each other, and the wheels on the bus just keep falling off.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the beauty of the solo thing. But I will say, as good as I might think I am playing solo, the band always has more. Just brings more.
Yes.
When you got 4 or 5 guys or girls on the same page and the energy aligns, there's a different thing that happens to the audience. And like I can have my best performance of my life solo, and the band is just always it's a level above that, and that's something I miss down here because I don't get to play with my boys as often as I would like. So I kind of miss that element. You
got some great guys down there.
You do.
I'm lucky. I'm really, really lucky that when I moved, a bunch of guys from Syracuse moved, and they just happened to be all my best friends. So I still see Goose all the time.
I was just going to say,
hanging out the other night. I'm going to hang out with Max. Max and I just went away together this weekend, partied. Well, I'm still best friends with all those dudes, and on top of that, they're fabulously talented musicians.
Now, is Max still doing any solo stuff? I know he was really doing well with the whole looping thing when looping first came out.
Sure.
And I was like, it blew me away. It did.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, looping. But when Max first started doing it, I'd book him at the bar, and his whole family would come out. His mom was like his biggest fan, and
still is.
And he's toured with some big names.
He has, he played with Rich O'Toole as well. He played with Josh Greason, who was like a big American Idol, second or third place guy. Max has played a lot of big shows. He has a company now with his best buddy in Syracuse, a kid named Andrew Greason. They have a company together where they write songs for commercials, and they've had a bunch of songs in Taco Bell commercials and Lexus commercials, and
cool.
I think they might have something during the Super Bowl, and they're like a little bit more studio focused these days, and they're killing it, absolutely killing it. Those guys.
That's
awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. Well, when you see Max, tell him I send my regards and miss hearing him play. Watching his at the time, he had a girlfriend that would come in and we turn the lights off. She'd do the hula hoop, the light up hula hoop.
Is that what you call it?
I don't care.
Okay.
It was wonderful to watch. She did a very good job. She was very artistic.
Yeah, he doesn't date that girl anymore. But
Well,
yeah, I'm gonna see him tomorrow night. We're actually meeting up for another buddy from Syracuse's birthday tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see him tomorrow night.
that's awesome.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
Very
you gotta keep your
cool.
buddies close. You know what I mean? You gotta
Yeah.
keep the ones that care about you close.
Yeah, that's right.
So what do you want to plug? Because we're gonna tag the shit out of this so that your fans, and hopefully you'll post it and share the post once this hits. This will hit YouTube tonight, and this will hit Spotify in about an hour and a half. So we'll have it all over the place.
Yep.
So what do you want to promote, and where are you going to be the next couple shows?
Did he freeze?
He either froze or
Or he's thinking.
wow,
That happens,
it does. Did we freeze too? We didn't.
No, we did not. We're still moving.
Wow. Uh-oh.
He's still there.
Let's wait and see if he blinks.
I know.
It's like blink. I think he froze.
I think he froze.
Well, that sucks.
Now he's gone.
He'll probably come back. I hope he comes back.
I hope he comes back, but if he doesn't,
What a great show
It was an
so far.
absolute pleasure talking with him.
Oh my God, yes. Kidding me?
And
not a lot of people know Mick's story.
no, and
Yeah.
now they will.
Yeah, you want to go Google him.
Well,
you want to
not
go
only
and-
that, go on YouTube and look at that front porch of America
Yep.
and check it out. It's a really great thing that he did. Oh,
Here he comes. He's back.
Okay, God knows what happened there.
So I
I'm
have
not
to
sure.
tell you, that was the best stare down. I go, he's either tricking us right now, and if he fucking blinks, I'm going to be pissed at him because
Right.
he's got a great stare going on right now.
because we had asked you something. We thought, well, maybe he's thinking about it.
I was like, so where are you playing next? And you just,
Yeah, you guys froze too. You guys.
Oh,
were-
really?
Yeah, you guys were frozen. That's what happened to me. So
That's funny.
That's awesome.
anyway, so I missed the part where you were saying something about what do you want to plug. That's
so
what.
what? Yeah,
Yeah,
what? Where's your next couple shows? We're gonna post the shit out of this and share it, and
It'll be on
Sure.
YouTube.
So I'm actually, funny enough, or coincidentally enough, I'm going to be up at the Motif at the Turning Stone this Friday night. I'm playing from 8 to midnight, so that's kind of a lucky coincidence.
there you go.
And then after that, really the biggest thing I have coming up is the release of this album. So again, it's called, I think I have it back there. Let me grab it. I'll show it to you. 1981 to 1996. It's
Yeah,
coming out
absolutely.
June 29th. Let me show you. Do the real proper plug here. This would be like
Absolutely.
late night TV style.
Oh,
at
very
that.
cool.
This is the vinyl.
So you actually have vinyl coming out.
I actually have vinyl coming
Oh,
out. Yeah,
buddy.
Awesome.
kind of exciting. So yeah, so we're putting this out.
Is it-
That's the biggest deal. That'll
it
be
a-
out June 29th.
Is it a
Excuse
colored
me,
vinyl?
June 23rd. What's that?
Is it a colored vinyl or is it just black?
No, it's just regular black
Regular,
vinyl.
okay.
Man, vinyl is so expensive. Just normally you start
Right.
doing colors, and it's like I have to mortgage my house to pay for that. So
Oh, wow.
and it took
Who knew?
forever for the vinyl. If you know, like vinyl is like crazy backed up, so it takes like 6 months to get. It's the first time I've ever done vinyl, and I loved it, but it's a pain in the ass.
That's cool.
But how cool? How does that make you feel though? Now you can
Dude,
say,
I drop it on the record player, and I'm like,
got a
this is
fucking
amazing.
record. This is me.
Exactly. This is me on a record.
I can hear myself
You know.
backwards.
It's weird. If you play it backwards, it just keeps going Satan, Satan, Satan. It's so weird. I don't know why I put that in there. It just
Put it backwards. It says Pennellville. Wait, hang on.
yeah, right.
Panelville. Panelville.
There you go.
Panelville. Panelville.
But yeah, so yes, let me get the dates right. So June 23rd, that's coming out. So like 6 weeks from now, and then I think we're gonna do a big release party down here, like a vinyl release party, play a big show at a really cool venue, which I can't mention yet till it locks in, but that's gonna be June 29th. In the meanwhile, people want to check out that song that you guys posted. Can't let go.
Can't let go.
That one really does mean, I don't want to say means the most because they all mean a lot for different reasons. That one's pretty personal. And then we have another one coming out in a couple weeks as well. So
Can you give us the name of it?
Me on, what's that?
Can you give us the name of it?
Yeah, the next one coming out, sorry, it's called The State of the Union is the name of the next song that's coming out. So kind of along the lines of that Front Porch of America thing that I did,
Sure.
but more in a Springsteen-y vibe. I think
Okay.
I think you guys will dig it. But yeah, so just if people stay up with me on, follow me on Spotify or Instagram, Facebook, wherever the YouTube, wherever you like to go. I'm on all your least favorite social media websites. So
I don't know. We might have to make the pilgrimage out Friday night just to go hear him.
hell yeah. Yeah.
I think
that's a fun show.
he'd take a shot at Jameson.
What time do you start?
I think I play 8 to midnight at the Turning Stone this Friday at Motif. Yeah.
Motif.
Yep.
Sounds like
so that's like, if you guys have been there, that's like in the middle of the gaming floor. They have like a little carved out bar area that they put guys like me in. Yeah, it's a good spot.
That's awesome. See, there you go. So local people, get out to Motif this Friday night. Make sure you bring a lot of singles.
That's our pick of the week.
That's our pick of the week.
Right there.
Yeah. Mick Fury.
Mick
3-inch Mick Fury. No, wait, it's not 3-inch Fury.
That's generous, honestly. Ask my wife.
Wow. And we went down that road.
We did. Wait, where's that? Hang on, I got to play this. Keep talking, Jeff.
Do you?
Yes, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing, too. Keep talking, Jeff.
When was the last time you spoke to J-Ro?
Today.
Oh, nice.
Actually.
Oh, nice.
But not for months before that. I was actually looking for a player for an event, and he's helped me out with that. So yeah.
Here you go.
He actually helped him out one time before, because you and I were texting back and forth around like 2015 or 16.
Okay.
You were looking for I think it was just you might have been here just doing a gig and needed a guitar player for the evening or whatever, because at the time,
and he got down to you.
J-Ro gave him my number.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff's played a bunch of shows with me. I play with the guy I've been using mostly lately is Dave King, who's just out of this world good.
Oh my god!
So,
I know.
Yeah, how can you go wrong with Dave?
I mean, I had the last time I played a full band show up there, I had Dave King, Brett Hoban on bass,
nice,
and Liz Strodel, if you know her, on drums, who's like one of my favorite drummers in history. She's just incredible. So
I'll tell Goose you did.
Yeah.
I love a lot of drummers.
Here you go.
This is my penis song. It isn't very long.
That's it.
Nice.
What the hell's wrong with you?
What?
Good to have that in your back pocket for whenever you might need it.
Well, you said 3-inch, giving you a lot extra, so I figured I'd play the penis song for you. We have a big budget here. That cost us 80 cents on that one.
Great.
Yep. We just went over.
Here we go again.
Better call the sponsors again.
All right, call the
Don't
sponsors.
forget,
hurry.
the Print Shop Underground.
That's right.
Sponsoring the penis song.
Yep.
So
they could probably 3D print you a short penis.
Yeah,
they don't need to print anything. I got it. It is what it is. I'm getting used to it. That's all. I don't even use it for anything anymore.
Right.
That's
it is what it is.
It depends.
What you're going to need shortly.
Here goes if the bus wheels are falling off
Yeah.
again. We forget this is video again, so we can't even awkwardly be like, fuck you.
I know.
All right, man. Hey, so everybody go out there Friday night, bring some singles.
Yes.
Make sure to tip them well.
Not only that, check out Front Porch of America on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make that popular again. Next thing you know, you're gonna be getting calls from Hulu.
And
man, it's a really beautiful song, and it did mean a lot to me. So I'd love it if people would check that out.
Yep, and don't forget his album, 1981 to 1996.
Yeah,
that's it.
You know what the next album's gonna be?
1997.
Yeah, to 2006.
to 2017.
Well, there is something special about those dates. I'll leave the mystery for you guys to think about. But
Okay.
There's something special about those days. So
Cool. And check out his single, Can't Let Go, and the one coming up in a few weeks, the State of the Union.
Yeah.
State of the Union.
Yep.
And all these songs have a meaning.
Yes.
There is a bit of a meaning behind them. Yeah.
Good.
I still haven't heard anybody.
I'm a thoughtful fucker these days.
Yeah, well, no one's written a song. You broke my heart, bitch, and now I hate you. So,
right.
Yeah, we'll hear. Well, maybe Tenacious D will write that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
let him do
favorites.
It. Love those guys.
Yeah.
Love them. So, all right. Hey, thank you so much. We
Nick,
will.
thank
You
you
want
very much.
definitely going to make an attempt to come out and see you on Friday.
Yes.
Sounds awesome. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
And
thank you.
anytime you want to promote something,
If you got something to promote, come on here, and we'll take care of it.
You're always welcome.
Yep.
We will kick off whoever we're going to have that day, and tell them, hey, you don't understand.
You know what? Mick Fury is going to be on.
Mick Fury, not McNugget.
No.
Not
McFlurry.
Not McFlurry. but Mick Fury.
Mick Fury.
That's right.
Yep.
Our
on.
our new friend of the show.
Yep.
So
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Mick, thank you so much.
always good to see you, brother.
Yep.
All
And
right.
we'll share
Peace.
some whiskey later.
Take care.
Sounds good.
All right. See you. What a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just loved having that insight.
And he went into detail, which is something that, a lot of our guests, I'm not going to say haven't done.
He's still here. I can see him. Look. Still says Mick Fury.
I know it does. Shh, quiet.
No, he went. We heard you.
Yeah.
Boom.
But
there he goes.
There it is. No, he finally heard it and said, no,
He's
I'm
like,
leaving.
oh, you dicks.
But no, I mean, he goes into detail about, what he likes to write.
Yeah.
Yep. His he doesn't really have a specific favorite genre from what I'm gathering. It's just, he goes, Americana. Like he said, he could go the Bruce Springsteen route. He can go the rock route, the country route. Whatever muses him, that's what he does. And I think that's cool as hell.
It is cool. And not everybody does that. A lot of people end up writing just to try to stay in the genre that they've been pigeonholed into.
Exactly. So the country singer is now pigeonholed into writing just country.
Right.
Or the
His
rock.
country stuff was good though.
Very.
He did country.
Yes.
I've heard it all, and I always like Mick's music, and then he
got to open for Bret Michaels. What a cool story that is too.
Yeah, and Vince Neil yelled at him.
Well, yeah, that. But I mean, who knew that? Like, he knew they weren't supposed to get paid, and Bret's like, no, dude.
Right.
That's
pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Not everybody has stories like that. But
No, they don't.
That's why we have this
And,
show.
and Vince Neil screaming and pushing him out of the way.
And that is part of the band and the
and
ugly. That's right. And a lot of the good.
It was a lot of the good tonight.
You know what else is good and ugly?
The Print Shop Underground. And
Yes.
Mike is holding a
Poop knife.
poop knife. Mike, why did you get this?
Because I never thought in a life of me I would see something on Amazon
Oh, boy.
called the poop knife.
Is this a new sponsor?
I saw it's sponsored by the Poop Knife. Poop Knife. A cut above.
Poof knife.
The poop knife. And this is
Oh, boy.
This is to help people
Yeah.
who notoriously clog the toilet.
Okay.
So I don't know if it comes with a sheath you can hang it off your belt
I don't think that's
when
necessary.
you go to a party. What is that on your belt?
That's my poop knife.
Poop knife. It's Excalibur.
It's a poof knife.
I had to buy it. It was $7. It was
You
just to
wasted-
say
You wasted your money, dude.
I don't care. This is the funniest fucking thing I've ever bought in my life.
However,
Poop knife.
here's the thing. You're actually going to do it, and I know that.
I'm not saying I'm not going to.
I know this.
I'm not going to be down there.
I,
Do you want a corner or a middle? Corner,
you
middle.
want a corner piece?
I would
or,
like it. I want an end like the brownies. Everybody
yeah,
gets a crust.
Yep, everybody gets a
Yeah.
little crust.
Poop knife.
Wow.
See, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You bring beer that tastes like shit. I drink knife. I bring knives.
you bring
that
knives
cut shit.
that cut shit.
See,
so, yeah,
same thing.
Great. Outstanding. Okay, on that note,
You're going to hell
yeah, you are.
with your poop knife.
On that note, don't forget
Don't forget, pick of the week. Go for it.
Don't forget this weekend, starting the very first Sharky's Bike Night.
Yeah, baby.
This coming Thursday, Dangerous Type.
My bike won't be ready.
Oh.
Fuckers.
And don't forget, Saturday, Jess Novak, the 90s show
The 90s show.
at Average Joe's. And let's not forget our good friend Mick Fury.
Yeah, baby. Friday.
Thanks for coming on, Mick. And this Friday, he will be.
Did you just hit puberty?
I did again.
Holy
This
shit.
Friday, I believe it's Motif Lounge.
Bring your poop knife.
Friday. Turning Stone,
Yeah, baby.
8 to midnight.
7. 8.
8 to midnight. Motif Lounge.
Motif.
What
What
Lounge.
the fuck?
I don't know. Whatever.
What do you call this? A poop knife? Poop kniff.
Kniff.
It's a poop kniff.
Also, Mick's new album, 1981 to 1996. Those dates are important, so figure it out when you listen to the album.
Be a first to respond to us this week. Send us a message through Spotify or a private message on
our Facebook.
And you will win a prize.
We want to thank the Print Shop
Underground. When you just need it printed, they'll
who actually made that right there.
They made that poster. Fucking awesome.
They did.
You like the brickwork I did?
This is, yeah. Love the brickwork.
We gotta go. You've been listening to The Good,
The Band,
and The Ugly. I'm Big Papa.
I'm Jeff, and we'll see you in the next a week.
Peace.
See ya.